Do you know what your purpose in life is? Do you think it is enough to be born? You go to school? Yeah. To be born, go to school, you go through all 18 years of college, get married, get a job, have kids, and then work and die. All of us are called to a very higher purpose. The more space you give to the Lord, the more He will come in. The more you ask Him to control your life, your finance, your health, your business, then He will give you more. I came here 22 years ago to join my husband, and it's not been easy for me. Being that I studied in Nigeria, and it was like climbing up the hill, it just was not easy. Along the way, just like each and every one of you, you meet storms of life. It will come to you if you have the desire. If it hasn't come already, it will come. But it's not the storm that matters. It is how you choose to respond to that storm. There are different kinds of storms. Some we invite ourselves, and some that we are allowed to come to us by God for a purpose. There's always a reason for it all. But you have to put yourself in a frame of mind, a spiritual frame, to be able to understand what is that storm for. God never gives you any assignment that you cannot handle. And I can tell you that even when you're going through difficulty of any kind, marriage, finance, business, whatever you're looking for a child, even though you may feel alone, you are not alone. The good Lord is there. Even if you don't go to church, even if you don't pray, there is somebody watching over you. That is true. Amen? Amen. If you have unshakable faith, I underline that, unshakable faith, you will see what others don't see. Amen. You will see and understand what others don't understand. Somebody, an Igbo man sang a song, he said, Chineke anaghị eri ewu, anaghị eri rice. All He wants is for you to have faith. God doesn't need rice or meat. All He wants for you to be thankful and just to worship Him. That's all He wants. I came here trying to jumpstart my career, my education. It was not easy. Working 60 hours a week, trying to help my husband who was doing his PhD program, being pregnant one after another, and trying to straighten a career. It wasn't struggling, it was too much. And I know this evening, I speak to some of you, women, men who feel stuck. They can't move, they can do nothing because of the children, because of situation. I didn't get to where I am just by wishful thinking. It was hard work, very hard work, and I don't quit. I am not a quitter because quitters don't win. My mom, my parents, they raised us very right. Be independent. Do what a man can do. So if he's not there, you feel it. So the mistakes you have made in your life, do you accept such responsibility, or do you choose to blame others for your problem? He made me do it. She made me do it. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can choose to respond a different way. So what do you do when people wrong you? Do you wish to call a cab to crush them? What do you do? Or do you thank God for your friends and relatives, or people who you don't even know? When they have a windfall, do you say, thank God for this person, they got a good job? or something nice has happened to them, you know, we thank God for that. There are many hypocrites in our society today. Some profess religiosity and parade themselves as peaceful people, but as soon as it's time to have a little misunderstanding with someone, they quickly put on their armors of war and they run to the battlefront. Attitude is altitude. I want to talk about an issue that is really very important in this community here. We are small Igbos, but this is my view of what I think is setting us back. On one hand, we wish that we are progressing very well, but on the other hand, we don't support each other. In February this year, I was deeply moved by the issue, the catastrophe that occurred to our brothers and sisters in Haiti. I made a public announcement asking for support from every African in Portland to help us send something to those folks. Sometimes it's not just good to be receiving, we need to give as well. I wrote emails to all the African leaders here, African community leaders in Portland, requesting for funds. And they did respond and they liked the idea. They thought, wow, that's a noble idea. This is something we can do. But when it came to doing it, there were no takers, or very few takers. But just a few brothers here in the African community were so supportive. And I can't end this film without even mentioning them. But as soon as I made that announcement, people started to talk. She wants to be popular. I don't want to be popular. I don't need it. I have a different mission, and I know what my goals are. People call their friends, don't go there, don't go to that meeting, don't support, don't donate anything. I didn't lose anything. The people who lost were those folks in Haiti. The people, Pastors Mbelo, Emeka Mbelo and his wife, I want to thank them for opening their church to allow donations of dry goods that went to Mexico in that, during that February, March time. I want to thank our brother Sam Okafor, who immediately jumped on board. He said, Angela, whatever help you need, call me. Brother Sam, I thank you. I want to thank Peter Anyang. Brother Peter, are you here? Where is he? Peter went, I call him Peter. And maybe I'm older than him, but I call him that anyways. He was in Nigeria when I called him. Left voicemail for Peter. As soon as he came back, which was like 2 days later, he had like serial number of phone messages, but he called me. He said, Angie, I'm going through jet lag, but I have to call you back. He gave me ideas, he supported, he said, whatever it is we need, call me. Bro, peace, thank you so much. Chief Chinayamba is the president of the Igbo community here. Chief Chinayamba threw his back, as he usually does. He said, if it's you, and for the help of other people, he's going to be in support. Right away, he was calling me, he was sending me emails, and threw his back. I thank you, Chief Chinayamba. Please give him a round of applause. I didn't take my time to make personal phone calls to people, but some people just ignored me. And that hurt me for a while, but you know what? That's what you do. That's what you suffer when you want to leave. You will suffer a little bit. You will suffer people sliding you. That's okay. But that's part of life. our children. You know, in this America, those of us from Africa, Kenya, had kids. Sometimes I just feel like we're losing the kids. And we're letting them develop their own self-opinion. Yes, it's okay, but we need to start as parents, please, to teach your children the way of the Lord. To teach our children the way of the Lord. If you don't, when they get to college and move out of the house, it's almost too late. If you don't stand up for something, you will definitely fall for anything. At this point, I just want to come to an issue in this community that really also is causing some kind of retrogression in my opinion. When I was a child, at the age of 6, in Lagos, I used to just sit quiet, do my homework, go home, but because I said nothing, I had no friends. Some kids would just come, sit next to me and elbow me. Some will pinch me just to get me to talk. Like, what is it? What is it about her? What is it about her? And then one day, I had enough after like a year. In the 2nd grade, on my way, I got out of school early. I went under like a fruit tree and put my backpack down, and I waited for the people who had been tormenting me. I beat them up. I'm not proud of it today, but this is a true story. This actually happened. And ended up breaking one girl's arm. Yes. My parents came to my house to complain. This is what your child has done. But I had been complaining to my mom. Well, God forgive me, I didn't know any better then. That was how I chose to respond. But today, since the past 10 years in this community, certain individuals in this community have made it their part-time job to spread unfounded propaganda and rumors about me and my family, with the sole purpose to tarnish my image. The main perpetrators are household enemies, and I chose to call them wolves in sheep's clothing. Every time they realize that I am moving forward or up to something good, they start a new wave of gossip and propaganda just to distract me. These individuals and their messengers, I don't think they are intelligent at all. Because if they were, you make a plan, you reassess it from time to time, you see it's not working. You try to find out why it's not working, but it cannot work. Because he who is in me is greater than who is in the world. Amen. Amen. Each of you at some point in your life have made donations to church, to school, to youth schools, whatever. Philanthropy, many of you. And all my family did was to donate money to a man of God for a good cause. And now it's all over the town. It's all over the town. In a very negative way. And God knows our heart that we're just trying to help. People who cannot make friendships last, people who feel that everything they have is the best, or should be the best. In psychiatric terms, we call them borderline personality, or people who have narcissistic personality. To the critics out there in this community, honestly, I owe you nothing, and my family owes you nothing. Because I see a critic in this contest as someone who will stop at nothing to drag you down to their level. And if they don't find a reason, they will make up one. I see a critic as someone, they're just spectators in a playing field. And if the game is not going their way, they refuse to clap. You see, never